Hey guys, welcome back to Mastering Game Studios. I'm Craig, and today we have the first datasheet deep dive of 2025. If you guys are new to the channel, this is a series where we cover specific datasheets from the Tyranid Codex, and we'll do a deep dive on them, covering, tactics, the base profiles, how they fit in every detachment, playstyles, all sorts of that sort of thing. So if that is something you're interested in, specifically on the Tyrant Guard today, I would consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of our content here at Mastering Game Studios. Not only do we do videos like these, but we also cover certain things like battle reports and other fun 40k related, typically Tyranid related content. So again, thank you to all of you who like and subscribe. Thank you to all of you members. It really means a lot to allow us to keep doing what we're doing. And now with all that, let's dive into today's video. So before we dive into today's video, I want to make two quick announcements for you guys. The first one, this video is coming out on a Friday, and on the following Tuesday, we're doing a live stream here. It'll be, I believe, my Tyranids versus Matt's Blood Angels. He's playing Space Marines. What flavor of them, I'm not 100% sure, but by the time you see the thumbnail, maybe you will know which one it is at that point. So come check it out. It'll be 5:30 U.S. Standard Central, U.S. Central Time. So check us out. Click the link here to put a reminder for the video. And the second thing is a video sponsor, which is me today, my Etsy shop. I'm looking forward to adding another 3D printed product for you guys. And those are going to be more torsos, but not, now we have the Hive Tyrant ones. We are moving to adding Venomthrope torsos to the selection here. So you guys will have, I'll put a little 360 of what you can see. It is a torso and a tail piece. You can get them in sets of 3, and they come with everything you need. So if you buy a kit that is Zoanthrope / Venomthrope, you build the Zoanthropes, and then you use these extra pieces, these 2 extra pieces, along with the leftovers from the Venomthropes, and you got yourself 3 Venomthropes. So right now, I have not launched it yet, but what I'm going to do is put a pinned comment down below. Right now, just US based. I know shipping is a pain in the butt overseas, so I'm working around it, but I'm very busy, so it's hard to figure it out. But yes, put a pinned comment below. If you are interested in purchasing a set of 3, give me a little thumbs up on the comment. I am printing them right now, and I want to get a good stockpile of them before I put it on the Etsy store, so I'm not behind on all of your amazing orders. So quick little shout out there. I want to mention that. Now to the rest of the video, we're going to talk about the Tyrant Guard. I love the Tyrant Guard. They have always been a fun unit to use in the Tyranid Codex from 5th edition onward. They've been, up and down in terms of their competitiveness, but I think they have found a home here in 10th edition now. So I'm going to talk about that. We'll go over the profiles, special rules, detachment support, and combos, which are very important with the Tyrant Guard. Base profile, as of the most recent balanced data slate and points update, they are now 80 points for 3 of them, which is a pretty nice pot. I was happy with them at 85 for 3 points, and 80 points for 3 is fantastic. So they've got a 6-inch move, standard, toughness 8 on an infantry model, 3-up save, which is okay, 4 wounds is very nice, leadership 8, and OC 1. You don't really care about the leadership because you're going to always be attaching these to a tyrant anyway, so they'll have that synapse at all times. Toughness 8, 4 wounds is tough for a lot of units to deal with, especially infantry, melee-based infantry. A lot of things are damage 2 or 3. Very few models in the game have a damage 4 weapon. You got to go to things like the Lion to find a melee weapon that is equipped properly to deal with these guys. So with that, if you can get things like a 6-up save on Feel No Pain save on them, it really helps make these guys last a bit longer. Again, only having a 3-up save, most things you go up against in melee will be AP 2 or 3, so they are going to chunk through that save. It's not great, no invuln for the most part, but yeah, so this base profile, pretty bulky for the point value there. Melee is an interesting thing with these guys. They have 3 options. They've got their Bone Cleaver and Lash Whip with the Rending Claws. I've got Crushing Claws in the Rending Claws and Scything Talons in Rending Claws. All in all, I've got a slide later where you can see the math on these, but they're all kind of the same. Remember, with these stats, they're going to be attached to a Hive Tyrant. You should always attach these guys to a Hive Tyrant, whether it's a Neuro Tyrant or a Foot Tyrant, but they'll always have +1 strength. So really, the Bone Cleaver and the Scything Talons are strength 6, and the Crushing Claws are strength 9, which is pretty good. That +1 strength allows the Crushing Claws to threaten light and medium vehicles, and then the other one, getting its strength 6, means you're really hurting the small infantry on 2s and most other infantry on 3s or 4s. So good there. For me personally, I like the Scything Talents. I like just the volume of attacks. Depending on your detachment, there are ways to get things like lethal or sustained on you. So having just a sheer volume of attack, my opinion, goes better, especially because the Hive Tyrant itself is equipped to deal with heavier infantry. So let him deal with that and let these guys just do the chip damage. If, though, you are using a Neuro Tyrant to get that +1 hit and potential +1 wound, Crushing Claws might still be an option because now you're hitting on 3s, which make them a little bit more reliable. So let's look at that damage output quickly. So this is based on a unit of 6 Tyrant Guard here. You've got Scything Talons, the Bone Cleaver, Crushing Claws, and then I put an additional one for the Crushing Claws with +1 hit, so you can kind of see the difference there. It's not major, but it does show up a little bit of a difference. And then, of course, if you haven't seen our deep dives, this is a regular slate of opponents we kind of face off against just to see what they do. And if you look at kind of the middle of the board, they're all pretty similar. They all do about the same damage to Intercessors and to Terminators, to Gravis Marines, even Rhinos. It's not that different. Yes, the Crushing Claws with +1 hit is going to be better than the Scything Talons, but still, they're all about the same. And then the big thing here is if you look at the cheaper stuff like the Guardians, they are substantially better than all of the other options. And for me, that's why I say I like to go for the Scything Talons, because all the other stuff, the Intercessors, the Terminators, the Gravis, the Hive Tyrant can deal with that. Remember, he's got 6 attacks with his Bone Sword, and I recommend taking the Scything Talons with him. So that's 4 more attacks that can easily kill a couple Intercessors, or maybe those can kill a Terminator or Gravis Marine itself. So you have the tools with your Tyrant to deal with the heavy stuff. It's the little things that the Tyrant could get bogged down with, so the Tyrant Guard are able to clear those up. So that's that, and why I suggest those. So there is a special rule that the Tyrant Guard have that we'll talk about quickly. That is Guardian Organism. There has been various forms of this in past codexes. This is probably the weakest variant of it. It's very nice, but it is niche. So it's an extra deterrent to help protect the Tyrants. It gives the model who's leading the Tyrant Guard 5-up, feel no pain. Again, in most cases, the wounds are taken on the Tyrant Guard first anyway. That only helps with precision and epic challenges, really. And again, most precision weapons aren't going to be doing anything to a Hive Tyrant anyway. I say most, there's still some that can. And most, well, I shouldn't say most, but epic challenges is nice to protect because your opponent will potentially want to try and kill the Hive Tyrant. It's a really powerful support piece. So it's a deterrent. Say, oh, if you epic challenge me, not only am I have a 2-up save, 4-up invuln, but I will also get 5-up feel no pain on top of it. So again, it is a nice ability to have. I won't complain about it, but it's pretty niche. And honestly, the number of games I've played with a Hive Tyrant and Tyrant Guard probably come up once or twice. So yeah, special rule there. Detachment benefits. This is really where a lot of it is for the Tyrant Guard. You'll notice as we go through these, Tyrant Guard work wonders in some detachments, and in others, in my opinion, they're pretty useless. So first off, for Vanguard and Unending Swarm, don't recommend them at all. In these detachments, I would say you probably want a Flyrant over a Foot Tyrant, and therefore you don't use Tyrant Guard. Simple as that. In Crusher Stampede, You can take them, technically being led by a Tyrant. They gain a couple abilities being in Pressure Stampede. A few of the stratagems will work on them. They get the OC2 if the whole unit is alive. So, you know, potentially they have really high OC, but it's as soon as one dies, you lose it, and there's no way to revive them in Pressure Stampede. So I'd typically stay away. You probably just want to run a solo Tyrant or Swarm Lord in general. In Invasion Fleet, they are a decent option. Like I said, it's a way to get sustained and lethal on the Tyrant Guard, so their melee is boosted up a bit. They also, because assuming you're going to be led by a Tyrant, they have the 5-up Feel No Pain strat that you can use, which 5-up Feel No Pain on top of their durability really does allow them to last a bit longer. So it's a good option in an Invasion Fleet. In Synaptic Nexus, this is probably the second best attachment for Tyrant Guard, in my opinion. The imperatives, I always forget the name of them. The imperatives are 5-up invuln, +1 to hit, and +1 to advance and charge. Fantastic. Tyrant Guard love that ability. They don't have an invuln, so you can give one to them. +1 to hit, especially if you're maybe taking Crushing Claws, then that makes them pretty good. They can be led by a Tyrant and still get +1 to hit there, or the Scything Talons on 2s. And then advance and charge, that helps up their speed or their charge distance. So all in all, that's great. 2 strats with that. One of them, of course, you can, because there's a Synapse unit leading them, use Reinforced Hive Node on these guys. Yes, it's been nerfed recently, but still, Armor of Contempt on this big, thick block of Tyrant Guard is no laughing matter for many opponents. Also, there's the strat where you can just put a unit in the same, or in a different imperative than your active one every turn. If they're in Synapse range, and because they'll be in Synapse range being led by a Tyrant, you can just pay a CP or the free strat from the Tyrant to just give these guys a 5-up invuln every single turn if you so want to. And that can go a long way with them. So I do really like Tyrant Guard in Synaptic Nexus. Warrior Bioform Onslaught, our newest detachment, probably would stay away from them. You can give an enhancement to the Hive Tyrant to give the Hive Tyrant and its unit advance and charge, which is pretty cool. But I lean towards the Bioform Onslaught detachment being more so of a ranged detachment supported by melee warriors to help the close combat. So you could use them in there. I don't think it's the best bang for your buck in that detachment, but you can. And finally, one that I have loved absolutely dearly, and if you've been a fan of the channel and watched, you know this very well. Assimilation Swarm loves Tyrant Guard, or Tyrant Guard love Assimilation Swarm. Now with the changes to Assimilation Swarm, it's even better. Before that, I was using them in old Assimilation Swarm and still having wonders with them. I think I was rocking like an 80% win rate at GTs, with even greater than 80% win rate at GTs, with lots of Tyrant Guard. Now, I'm not just talking 6, I'm talking 12. Even in Synaptic Nexus, 12 or 18 of them could be nasty. The ability to just bring back a full Tyrant Guard at least once every turn, you've got strats to potentially bring maybe 2 or 3 of them back, is fantastic. The enhancements are all very good. The one for Fight First and the situational Fight First and Heroic Intervention is fantastic to get your Tyrants and Tyrant Guard into melee. And there's one for Extra Strength, which can be pretty good if you're rocking, for some reason, 2-foot Tyrants, or maybe you want one on a Neuro Tyrant or something weird. The Extra Strength will bump your Crushing Claws up to Strength 10. So now you are really threatening a lot of tanks and monsters with that kind of strength. So awesome there. We'll talk about more tactics with some of this later, but in summary there, Synaptic Nexus, Assimilation Swarm, and maybe Invasion Fleet, Tyrant Guard are pretty good. All the other ones, I'd just stay away from them. So combos and play styles. These are also, again, like I said, important for the Tyrant Guard. Boosting their durability is the biggest thing. While they are a chunky unit and designed to just absorb wounds, the durability, if you are not careful, is actually not that good. There are a lot of anti-tank weapons that can look at these guys and just pick them up one after another. So any way to stack some durability to just make them more annoying to remove is good. A couple ways to do this. First off, Zoanthropes are a pretty basic one. They can give them a 6-up invuln if they're nearby. Simple as that. Psychophages, this is my favorite one, especially because of Assimilation Swarm. Gives them a 6-up Feel No Pain. It's not, it's not high probability it goes off, but if your opponent has a damage 2 weapon or a damage 4 weapon that they're hitting with this guy, any 6 that you roll just causes 1 extra attack to go through, and it makes, 1 less Tyrant Guard potentially die that turn. So love Psychophages babysitting the Tyrant Guard bricks. Venomthropes, they're an okay one to bring. Because you're going to be having a monster join these guys, the Venomthropes will give stealth, or will not give stealth, but they will give cover. So they're kind of effectively having that 2-up save if you keep the Venomthropes nearby. So it's a good option there. I say effectively, it can't get bumped to a 2-up, but it reduces the AP, so it's a kind of like a 2-up, kind of. And finally, one that a lot of people don't think about is the Go to Ground stratagem. In previous editions, Go to Ground was limited to just infantry, and it still is in this one, but it does not exclude monsters. You just have to have the infantry keyword. So you can go to ground for 1 CP, even with a Tyrant attached, and that gives them cover and a 6-up invuln save. I really like this one, and I would say, I think Go to Ground has been a strat in 8th, 9th, and 10th edition. Almost never used it, but I use it almost every game, at least once when I'm playing with my Tyrant Guard brick, because it basically combines the buff of having Zoanthropes and Venomthropes. Maybe you don't want those units in your list. You can get them out there, and for 1 CP, you can just have both of their abilities happen at once. And then if a Psychophage is nearby, fantastic. Again, it just helps keep them alive, and then the 6-up Feel No Pain on top of it, if you're 6s, you just get a few of them there, that many more Tyrant Guard are living. So how I play them, it is tricky because they are large footprint models, and the Hive Tyrant is faster than the Tyrant Guard. So I would lead with the Hive Tyrant and let him always be in the front, especially when you're fighting, or put him on the side, because he can't go through buildings, but the Tyrant Guard can. So you want the Hive Tyrant to be able to make a charge that wraps him around, and the Tyrant Guard can go through the building. Also keep in mind that with the base-to-base rules in Melee, the Hive Tyrant base as a model, you can fit, in most cases, 3 Tyrant Guard in base with a Hive Tyrant. So that alone, Hive Tyrant and 3 Tyrant Guard will be able to fight if just the Hive Tyrant makes it and the others get based there. So that's kind of how I look at it. Always kind of keep the Tyrant Guard. They're there. They're supposed to lead from the front and absorb the wounds, but really gameplay-wise, you kind of want them trailing behind for the most part. Sometimes it's nice in Assimilation Swarm. You always want to keep one hidden behind line of sight. So if you go to touch an objective, you always want to try and keep 1 or 2 behind line of sight. That way, if your opponent blasts, 3 or 4 of them off the board, they're out of line of sight, they're protected for the rest of the shooting phase, and then you can use assimilation stuff to heal back up. It's kind of like how you play with Tervagons and Gaunt. You always want to keep part of that core unit alive so they have something to respawn from. So that's pretty much it. It's a weird unit to play with. You just gotta get used to the giant footprint and let the Hive Tyrant do his thing and let the Tyrant Guard just absorb wounds. The Tyrant Guard are fine in Melee, but they are there to allow the Hive Tyrant to just go to town turn after turn after turn with support and offensive capabilities, and they're just absorbing wounds. Pretty much, to wrap up the conclusion, I would say Tyrant Guard are not an auto-include unit by any means, but that is primarily because of what detachment you are playing. If you are playing again Assimilation Swarm, Synaptic Nexus, or maybe I say Invasion Fleet because there's a lot of good options for that 5-up Feel No Pain strat. So depends on what's in your list. But if you are playing for sure Synaptic Nexus and Assimilation Swarm, I would highly recommend trying out Tyrant Guard. They're expensive, actual money-wise, but 6 or 12 of them really is where they shine, because you can kill 6 of them. They take some work, especially if you play right. They take some work to kill 6. But if you've got 6 more of them barreling down at you that you have to deal with, it's a lot of work for your opponent to deal with. So try that out. The more there are on the table, the more oppressive they can be with their durability. 18 is a lot. I have seen people do successful with 18 of them in Synaptic Nexus before, but in Invasion or in Assimilation Swarm, I think 12 of them is the sweet spot. And similarly to Invasion Fleet, 6 might be all you need. But that's pretty much it for the Tyrant Guard. Pretty straightforward. They are a fun unit, not an auto-include, but I love them. I love them to death. And you'll probably, if you want, can go back on the channel, see a couple battle reports. I always use Tyrant Guard. Well, I don't always, but I used to always use them because I was practicing for GTs and stuff with them. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Have you tried out Tyrant Guard? Have you used them in any other way that I did not mention? Or do you guys think I covered everything? Put your questions, comments down below. And again, remember, live stream on Tuesday. I think I'm going to be using a lot of warriors, like a true warrior Biofilm Onslaught. Not for sure. We'll see. And then the other one is, I'll put that pinned comment down below. If you are US based and interested in the Venom Tropes, they won't be, I think it's probably going to be, I'm trying to remember, I think it's like $17.50 for 3 of them. That includes shipping because I like to do the free shipping and just bake it all in there. So not a steep price in my opinion for some great quality sculpt. Just put a thumbs up on that. It'll let me know how much I kind of need to have as a pre-order in such a way. And yeah, we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you members for all of your support. Looking forward to seeing all of you on the live stream. And we'll see you next time here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios.